Alright, what's up everybody? Thanks for hopping on the stream. How's the audio for the music? And how's my mic? Just want to do a sound test before we get started. Let me know how the audio is, and as soon as we get the settings correct, we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, everything good? Mic pretty loud, music pretty low. Okay, let me turn the... Alright, turn the music up a little bit, so everything good? Yeah, no, the in-game music is muted. I've got like a soundtrack playing in the background, so basically it's, yeah, I'm not going to use the in-game audio, just for those wondering. So I've been meaning to do a Japanese lesson video for a while. It's been a hot minute since I last did one. I figured, you know, it'd be worth it to do stuff about the in-game, you know, content, and talk about the Japanese language here and teach you guys how to learn and read and write Japanese and speak Japanese using content in Dokkan Battle. Since you guys you guys pretty much play this game, so it's better off to just use this instead of using like generic words to kind of translate and give you guys feedback on. So we'll do it like this. I wanted to do a live stream because basically this way you guys can ask me questions on the spot, you know what I mean? So anytime you have questions, like you'll have the ability to ask a question. I can answer you right away. All right, so why is this a new account? This is basically, I'm using an emulator, that's why. Like, this is not my main account, obviously. It's I'm using Nox emulator, just pulled up a random like brand new account to just use it as an emulator, so that's why. It's not my actual account, so we don't need it for that purpose. Like, basically I was gonna go through like these Japanese texts and languages and just kind of, you know, show you guys how to read and write it. That's pretty much the point of it, so we don't really need my main account to do that. All right, so yeah, thanks for everybody hopping on. It seems like a decent amount of you guys are hopping on, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for checking it out. I see a lot of you guys on here: Junior, Normald, Eduardo, Gupta, Zanzan, Primal, Darko, Engorged Swan, JP, Elmer, what's up everybody? Jason, Bartolomelo, Ainsley, yeah, Edward, what's happening everybody? Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is going to be a Japanese language tutorial kind of thing. I wanted to make it an interactive live stream, that way you guys can ask me questions. So we'll go ahead and start off at the most basic level. And I've got the Word document in the middle, as you can see, so I'm going to type it in English, and that way you guys can see, you know, the translations, you know, in real time. Alright, so basically, let's take a quick start at the bottom section. Like, you guys already know like everything what it is, but the point of this is having the ability to read the characters in Japanese and know what they mean. So we'll start with the bottom section here, and I don't know, can you see the cursor or not? Let me know if you can actually see the cursor, because I don't know, under these settings I'm gonna have to look and see if I've got the ability to show the cursor or not. Okay, let me look this up real quick, so hang tight for a second. Okay, it's fine. We're gonna try without it. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Alright, so right here, you see on the bottom left where it says home, right? So you'll see the following letters. So let me switch to my Japanese text. So that is gonna be right here. So you'll see it where the Z sign is on the bottom left. That is your home. So what that translates to is home, right? So the phonetics with that, if we break it out, is going to be like this. That is going to equal Ho. All right. This extension you see in the middle right here is basically just an extension. All right. So it's nothing important. You're basically just extending the ho, pretty much. All right. So that's how this thing works out. And then mu right here. Let's see. All right, that is going to equal mu. All right, so if we pronounce it in Japanese, it's pretty much like this. So homu is how you say it in Japanese, which is really home. All right, so that's how you pronounce home in Japanese, and that's the button on the bottom left. The one next to that is going to be chimu. So that's team in Japanese. Yeah, that might be a famous slogan now, extending the ho. So that the term team translates in Japanese to chimu. It's an imported word, that's why we're using the katakana format right here. All right, so this is the katakana format, and if we change it to the hiragana format, it's going to be like this. That's hiragana, which is your most basic Japanese text or alphabet. Okay. Now katakana, again, this is going to be in katakana right here. All right, so let's break this out. That is going to equal chi. So for example, you guys know Chi-Chi, right? The character? Right? Yeah, that is basically Chi-Chi right there. That is 2 characters. That's it. That's in the katakana format, and each one means chi. So both of those combined is going to be Chi-Chi. All right. Let's start off with the one in the middle with the scouter, which is obviously the summoning button. This is going to be Gasha. If I can find the damn alphabet for it. Oh. There we go. Alright, so that is gacha, or gasha, which is... Alright, the other way to say it is gacha, but it's spelled differently. If you say gacha, it's gonna be like this. So even though they mean the same thing, the lettering is going to actually be different. And no, I am not a teacher in real life. I'm just doing this as a hobby. Since I know Japanese and I'm fluent in both languages, I figured I would help you guys out and share some of my knowledge that I have. What's happening, Marco? What's happening, Hyper? What's happening, Emmanuel? Thanks for checking by. All right, so that is your summoning button, which is gacha equals gacha or gasha. And if we break this out, again, these are all going to be in the katakana format. All right, so this is going to equal ga. You see those little parentheses on the top right? The difference that makes, and this is a little bit more advanced, and I'll briefly cover this, but originally it's going to be ka, right? This is actually going to equal ka. But with the fact that you put in these little parenthesis looking things, and it's different, it's going to look different because I just use the random parentheses. By adding the parentheses to the ka letter, it now translates to ga. Okay, so you're going to have like all these different texts where it's like ba is going to have, like you can see the ba with the parentheses. Originally it's going to be ha without it, but by adding that it becomes ba. So like baba, that is going to equal baba. Okay, so by adding parentheses, we'll call it that for now, it's actually going to change the actual letter. This right here and this, the ga and ka are completely different letters because of this little quotation sign. All right. I know this is a little bit difficult, so I know I'm kind of going about it pretty fast, but yeah, it's this is the best way I can explain it to you. Okay, so you want to start. All right, so this is what we'll do. I'll start with the covering the bottom part of the buttons, and then I'll show you what the alphabets are from Japanese to English, so you guys understand the phonetics. Okay. So let's try it with the shop. Okay, that is shop. Pretty straightforward stuff. If we break this out, it's gonna be okay. That is gonna equal sho. And this little button right here, this actually equals like condensation or condensation. So basically it's an accent, I guess, in a way. Accent, indentation, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. But we'll skip back to the pu, which is this sign, and this actually means pu. All right. So by adding these all together, it's gonna equal shop, right? Shoppu. That's how this thing reads out. So this is more or less like, if we didn't have this, it would be like shoppu, right? Shoppu. But by adding this little sign right here, it's shoppu. So there's a little like accent that you have to play into because of that. All right. All right. So the last one we're gonna cover is the baba shop, but it's actually in kanji lettering. Okay. So that is what that actually spells out to. Okay. And if I write this in Japanese, so we'll do it like this. Right? So, the pronunciation for this is kokanjo. So, kokanjo. Okay? And that is, the direct translation is obviously exchange shop or exchange location. That's how this pronunciation is in terms of the kokanjo. So this is kanji lettering. So you're not going to be able to understand or write this because it is a little bit difficult. But let's actually translate this kokanjo into the katakana format, or actually hiragana. So ko is actually ko, right? And this is kan, and this is jo. So that is how you write it, and essentially in the hiragana format, kokanjo. So that means the same thing. Kokanjo is basically your baba shop, exchange shop. Yeah, I'm gonna actually post this as a video once the stream is over, so if you want to refer back to this, you certainly can. Okay, so let's make it easy on you. Let's go through each of the alphabets, right? So we'll have to do it in the hiragana format. And I actually think I have a table for this, but it'll be easier to do this. And some of you that caught the videos in the past will kind of understand this because I've already covered this before, but it'll more or less be a review for you guys, which will be good. Okay, so this is a very basic first set of the alphabet. So this is going to be A. This is going to be, let's just say E. Alright, and this is going to be U. And this is going to be E. And this will be O. So the pronunciation for these is A, I, U, E, O. Okay? So let's give you an example of what words we can combine with these letterings. So if I, for example, use a combination of these 5 letters right here, this actually is going to mean blue, which is Ao. Alright, that's the pronunciation for that. Ao is actually blue. So you see that it's combining this letter and this letter. So even just within these 5 alphabets, you can actually combine them and make words in Japanese out of it. Okay, so E is gonna be let's see, let's get an example of one that uses one of these. Let's see, I think Ie would be a good one. All right, so Ie is actually gonna translate to house. So the pronunciation for that obviously is gonna be like Ie. I mean, obviously the way I'm spelling it might be a little bit confusing, but yeah, that's pretty much how you pronounce that. Ie is house in Japanese, and you can see you're only combining this letter and this letter. So by doing that, I mean, you can essentially build words out of just five characters in the first set of the alphabets. Yep, that's exactly right. Still, the next set of alphabets is going to be the Kaki, kukeko. Okay, so U. Let's come up with a word for that. Let's see. I guess the easiest one would be ue, which is gonna be. Oh, by the way, if you do ever use the Japanese keyboard, the easiest way to change between English and Japanese is using the Shift-Alt button. If you have the Japanese language or keyboard enabled, that's basically your shortcut for that. Alright, so ue is actually translates to up. Okay, so the pronunciation for that is obviously u and then e. So that alone is going to translate to up. And if you want to know what it is in kanji letter, that's what that is, ue. Alright, let's see. The et letter. Let's find a word that translates that. Actually, there is one that is pretty easy. You can actually make a word just out of this letter alone. E actually means drawing in Japanese. So yeah, pretty easy stuff, right? Like all you have to say is e, and it'll translate to drawing. All right. Next up, let's cover the O lettering. And yeah, Ied is actually a good example too. Yeah, I'm glad somebody mentioned that. So let's cover that one. Ied is actually a formal way of saying no. So that's another combination within the 5 alphabets that you can actually use to create a word. All right, so that's yeah, that's an example of the combination of the e letter and also the e letter. All right, so let's try the O lettering and come up with a word for that. I'm trying to think what would be a good one. Actually, this is one you'll probably see in the Dragon Ball universe a lot. Oi is going to translate to like hey or yo. So you'll see in Dragon Ball like a couple of characters be like oi. Yeah, that actually means, you know, I think over in English, I mean, people say oi too, right? So the right way to write this is actually in the Katakana format, and you probably see it in the manga. They'll put it like that. So that's an example of that. All right. Hopefully you guys are keeping up. It's not too confusing. If it is, let me know. And I can slow down. If you got any questions, definitely ask me any questions. So SRLE. There are various ways to say blue. Aoi is also a good, a way to say that, but ao is actually blue as well. So if I break this out, like for example, this is actually the kanji letter for blue. What you're thinking of is aoi, which is like a descriptive way to explain an item or object. So this is more or less used to say like something is blue. Let's say the sky is blue, right? You're gonna say something like sora ga aoi. That's how you would say blue in a more descriptive manner. This is a little bit more advanced, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Ao is actually the simplified, just I guess noun setting of the letter blue. So you could actually say it like this too. Sora wa ao. You could say that like that too. So that, I mean, it's a little bit more advanced because we're talking about the actual formalities of creating sentences, which is a little bit more advanced at this point. But there are different ways to talk about this in Japanese. All right. You definitely want to start learning with the Hiragana format than the Katakana, because essentially it's going to be easier to learn Katakana after you've already got the basics with the Hiragana. So that's what I would definitely recommend, is cover these first and then go from there. So let's move on to the next set, which somebody already mentioned, is the Kaki kukeko format. So that's your second set, and category will actually include a couple of these letters. So once we get through it, I'll write it out. But just you know, just since you guys are curious, I'll go ahead and spell out category. Kategori. That is actually category in Japanese. However, this is not how you're supposed to spell it. Category is an imported word from a foreign country or foreign language. So katakana actually is the format you need to use, because katakana is the alphabet that you have to use for any words that are imported from a foreign language. So the right way to write this is actually this. It means the same thing. It sounds the same, but this is the way that you're actually supposed to write it. So if we go over onto the Dokkan Battle interface, if you go to your favorites and change that, you can see the letter right there. It says kategori right here, right on the top. It says kategori, which is category. So that is pretty much how that's done. Story is also a way to say that, is like basically you would pronounce it like that, I guess, in a way, story. But to type it in Japanese, it would be, that's the Hiragana format for story. But again, it's an imported word, so you have to type it in the Katakana format, which is going to be like such. Alright, so that's briefly how you write out certain things. Yeah, category is an imported word in Japan, so that's why we have to write it in the katakana format. Alright, so let's bring out the phonetics with the Kaki kukeko lettering. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with that. This is ka. This is ki. This is going to be ku. This is going to be ke. And this is going to be ko. Alright, so let me give you a couple examples of letters that are used to spell out certain things with these, using these letters. So we already covered the E letter right here, right? In the previous set. Now we're using the ka. So combining that together is going to equal kai. So like, for example, Dragon Ball Kai. That is actually how you spell it. However, again, kai is not necessarily a Japanese word. So if you want to say Dragon Ball Z Kai or Dragon Ball Kai, you know, that special edition set of anime or whatever, you're going to have to write it like this. Okay? Let's move on to ki. I mean, ki is pretty much straightforward. You can actually come up with a letter for that. Let's say, for example, ki in the Dragon Ball universe is like, you know, you got to get the ki meter and all that shit, right? So that's pretty much the letter alone. However, the kanji letter that you probably see in the manga is that, which is a variation from the Chinese origination of chi. Chi and ki is pretty much the same thing. If I'm incorrect, let me know. But as far as I know, ki and chi, they essentially mean the same thing. Chi is more or less Chinese origination. Ki is like the Japanese version of that word. Yeah, that's right. It's basically energy. Alright, ku. Let's see. Let's come up with a word for ku. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Alright, how about how about this? Kuki. So we got a couple of combinations. Ku, right here, and then U from the earlier alphabet, and then we've got the Ki right here. Okay, so if we break this out, it's gonna be Ku as you see on the left, and then U, and then Ki. This actually means air. Funny, right? So again, that's probably how you say it in Japanese, phonetically anyway. Kuki. That means air. You know, Kiko is actually a good one too, because Tien actually has that technique, right? Kikoha. So if you spell this in Japanese, it's going to be... That's the Hiragana format. However, what you're used to seeing is probably the kanji format, which is... If I can find it... I think it's this. I'm not 100%, but I think that was the Kikoha, which is the technique that Tien uses. All right, let's try the Ket format. Let's come up with a word for that. Let me think. Actually, this will be a good one. That is the Katakana format, so I'm not going to convert it to Katakana. We'll do it in Hiragana just to keep it simple. This actually means cake. So, eat the cake. So, obviously, you can see on the left, the initial alphabet here is going to be Ke, right? This right here is an extension. And this right here is Ki. Yeah, and still taco is, yeah, that's the correct lettering for both of them. One is hiragana, one's the katakana format, and that does in fact mean octopus. So like takoyaki, right? The Vegito item that's used in Dragon Ball. In Japanese, that's how you write it, takoyaki. Okay. However, in Japan, we actually use kanji letter for this. And that's how you write it. So yaki is like grilled or whatever. Like, and then octopus is obviously taco. So takoyaki is combining two different things and combining it together, and that's why it means like the takoyaki, which is like I guess the direct translation is, it's not obviously correct, but you know, it's like grilled octopus is a good way to explain it. Yeah, so takoyaki is like a famous like meal or snack in Japan. All right, so let's go back to the lettering. Let's try ko. Let's see. Well, actually, you could just use ko, which is gonna mean child, because the kanji letter for it is gonna be that. So like, this is gonna be a little bit advanced, but I'll go ahead and cover it anyway. Like deshi is gonna be, and you'll see it in like the earlier parts of Dragon Ball, like the manga, you'll see that word deshi. Means apprentice. Okay, so you see the ko, which is child, used for the kanji letter for that. So ko is yeah, an example of a word for using ko is going to be child. All right, let's move on. I guess we'll use the next set of alphabets. Again, ask me questions if you have any. So that is going to be your next set of alphabets. It's going to be Sachi, suse-so. All right. So we'll cover each one, and let me just put in the phonetics real quick. We'll say. Maybe that's the easier. Well, say is probably the right way to type it, but the phonetics itself is you know, a little bit, I guess, tricky, I guess, to write it down. How's it going, Carlos? Ohio gozaimasu. Good morning to you. I guess it's early morning for you over there. All right, so let's cover this one by one. Sachi, suse-so. All right, that's the phonetics for that. So if we go about creating some words out of this, and what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to keep the alphabets that we already covered on the bottom. That way you can reference that. Okay. All right, let's see. Sa. What's a good word for sa that we've already used? I guess saka would be a good one. Or actually sake. That'd be simpler. Alright, hopefully there's not that many alcoholics here. That means sake. So, the alcoholic beverage of sake, actually, you can write it like this. Or, this actually also means salmon, too. So, there's two ways to call salmon in Japan. Sake is one and shake is another one. So, those are examples of that. Let's see, for she, let's see. I'm trying to think of a good one for that one that I've already covered. I guess shiai would be a good one. So shi I. So shiai means match in Japanese. Or yeah, I mean match would probably be the best way to translate that. Okay, alright, let's move on to the su lettering. Let's see. Well, I guess the easiest one would be sushi. Alright, that's going to be su and shi. So you're combining these two letters right here. Sushi. So that means sushi, translated in Japanese. The kanji letter that you'll most likely see is going to be that. But obviously this is far too advanced to cover that right now. Just giving you an example. Alright, se. Let's cover se real fast. I'm trying to think. What's a good one? Actually, here's a word that you all use. I'm covering alphabets that we haven't covered yet, but you guys know the word senpai, I'm sure, right? So we'll go ahead and translate this into Japanese, because some of you guys really love using that word. So that is senpai. Okay? So obviously you're using the se. This is actually like I don't know how to type this correctly. Like, I guess will be the good one right here. And then pa. And then e. Okay? We'll just do it like that. Senpai. So, that is how you say it in Japanese. Alright, so go ahead and start practicing and type that in Japanese if you feel like you're going to comment that on my YouTube videos. Maybe I'll notice a little bit more. I do see you guys already typing that. Alright, so let's go ahead and cover the so letter. Let's come up with a good one. I'm trying to use like different phrases that are actually used in the Dragon Ball like manga series. I guess Soka would be a good one. You'll see a couple of characters use this word a lot. So obviously we're only using letters that we've already covered. So Soka, so-u-ka. This equals, like, is that so? So you'll see, like, you know, Piccolo and other characters in Dragon Ball be like, you know, somebody will say something and then they'll respond by saying Soka. You know, that means, is that so, or is that right? You know, that's pretty much the translation for that. Okay, all right. Yeah, kanji is definitely daunting. Kanji, the reason why kanji is important in Japanese is basically to condense the letters into a more smaller area taken, I guess, because think about it. If you're writing everything out in hiragana, it's gonna take a shit ton more space than kanji format. Basically, I'll give you an example. Let's see. I'm trying to come up with a good one. All right, so the best example I can give you is this right here. So you see that right here? This means super. This means Saiyan or Saiyajin right here is Saiyan, and this is Goku. So let me just write this out. And let me actually break this out so it'll be more easy to understand. So this right here is super. Okay, and this is Saiyan, and this is Goku. Okay, so the reason why kanji is so important is think about how many letters are taking up space right here. That's a lot of letters, right? If we actually write this in kanji, we can actually condense the space by a lot. So that right there is the exact same thing, but notice how there's 5 letters less than the hiragana katakana format. This means the same thing. This means Super Saiyan Goku, right? And this is Super Saiyan Goku as well. But the fact that hiragana is using each phonetics to spell out the letter versus this, where it's combining certain combinations of letters to come up with the same word. That's why kanji is so important. I know I kind of went on a tangent right there, but that's basically the purpose of kanji. Okay? All right, so let's hop back on Dokkan Battle here, and we'll cover some of the things that maybe I can find that we've already covered. So let's find out. Let's go to, I'm trying to come up with a good spot here. All right. I'm trying to think if it's better to go ahead and keep going with the alphabet or just kind of stop here with the covering, because there are letters that I haven't covered. But we'll start out here, like right here on the highlighted section. That is going to translate to level. So if we type this out in Japanese, that's level, which equals, in hiragana format, deberu. But that also means level, right? So the way to pronounce this is re, be, ru. So this is re, this is be, and this is ru. So you know in Japan we pronounce it by a certain way, so it's re, be, ru equals level. Okay, so that's the format with that one. Let's see, right here. All right, I've obviously heard this a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and translate it. You're gonna put me off a tangent, but I cannot ignore this one. You're already dead, right? I mean, we all know what that means in Japanese. Like, you guys know more Japanese than you actually think, because you use a lot of memes and words that actually use Japanese. All right, we obviously know what that means. All right, so let's break this out. In kanji, in the actual Fists of the North Star manga, you're gonna see it like this. That's the kanji format. So you notice there's 2 kanji letters here, and the rest are in hiragana format. And this right here is a period in Japanese. For some reason, they wanted a circle instead of a dot. So that's pretty much how that shit is. All right. And just to give you some more additional information, you can actually say omae in more like different manners. This is like a real formal way to say omae, but this means something different. So if I break this out, this is how things are said. So that's how that's how it's said. So you're already dead. So it's split up into 3 sections. So similar to the English language or anything in general, you've got your like I don't even remember that shit because I haven't been in school in forever. But you got your sentence structure, with the noun and verb and subject or whatever the hell it was, right? So the sentence structure is definitely the same as Japanese. It's just the placement of where things are is a little bit different. Okay? All right, back to the shit we were doing. This is why I like live stream formats because, you guys get to mention certain comments or ask me certain questions, so it brings up good topics and good points. And I don't even know where the whole nani meme came about, but that's definitely from I don't know. I guess for me personally, it originates from like Fists of the North Star, but I guess Dragon Ball definitely does that too, where Vegeta says that shit. But for me, like growing up as a kid, like whenever the only time really when people use nani was in Fists of the North Star when Kenshiro's whooping ass and he's poking people and then the guys are like, what the fuck is going on? You just touched me. What is that supposed to do? And then Kenshiro's like, omae wa mou shindeiru. And then they'll be like, obviously, nani? So that's pretty much the way, that's pretty much the origination for me. But obviously Vegeta says that shit too, so it depends. I don't know the original source of the meme itself, you know what I mean? So I don't know. If you guys know, let me know in the comments, I guess. All right, back to the Dokkan Battle interface. So right here, the rare. All right, so rarity, I guess, is how it's said in global. But spelling this out in Japanese is Hiragana is actually like this versus Katakana, where it's like that, how you see it on the JP Dokkan Battle. So if we break this out, this is going to be, excuse me, there. All right, so same thing here. So that's pretty much how you say it in Japanese, yeah, or so that's how it's said, yeah, which is rare, all right, which also equals rarity. All right, that's pretty much how you're going to be able to determine certain things. How about this? For those, does anybody play Strictly Global right now? Let me know in the comments. Like, are there players on this stream that only play Global and haven't ever played JP? I'm actually kind of curious. What, is there a dislike on this video? Hey man, I mean, people are gonna hate. What can you do, right? Okay, so on Global, things are a little bit different, right? So pick something random, like an interface within here that is on Global. And we'll find this in JP, and I'll tell you where it's at. It might be a little bit difficult to get this right, but we'll see. In the meantime, I'll keep covering this. All right, so this one right here is going to be cost. So Canada, I'll go ahead and stop and answer that real fast. Honestly, there's a lot of shit that's about to go down for the 250 million downloads, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. One being, it might be better off to save your Dragonstones for 250 million downloads. However, the flip side of that coin is if you use let's say for example one multi-summon 50 stones, that'll still translate to one ticket when 250 million downloads start. So, I mean, just look at it that way. Like, compare as to which one's going to benefit you more, if it's worthwhile to summon or wait till the 250 million download. Especially if you're free to play, it does make a difference. So, kind of give or take, think about the advantages versus disadvantages before you actually summon. So, like, yeah, JP said, I mean, 250 million downloads with some shit ton of stuff is about to come out. So, you know, think about that, whether you want to summon or not. I would probably, if it was up to me, like, I would probably save the stones and wait till the actual celebration starts. Because, I mean, think about it. The ticket banner, who knows what units are going to be featured on that banner, you know? So nothing's known at this point. So you're probably better off, like, saving the stones for that. Okay, back to this shit. So cost, right? The highlighted section says cost, and I've already translated for you. That means cost. Okay, let me turn the audio down a little bit. It seems a little bit loud. Okay, so back to this. So this right here is in the katakana format. Okay, if we translate this to the hiragana format, why did I just type hiragana? Like, this is why I can't multitask. Like, I'm fucking retarded sometimes. That's cost in Japanese. Alright? Means the same thing. However, this is hiragana and this is katakana. So that's the only difference. They mean the same thing, but it's just spelled differently and written differently. So that is how the phonetics work with cost. Kosu to. So cost is kosu to. That's how you say it in Japanese. Cost. Alright, how about this? Let's switch things up a little bit. How about I translate shit for you guys? You can write down whatever it is, as long as it's not graphic, as long as it's not explicit, as long as it's not inappropriate. Write me a random ass word and I'll translate that for you. Maybe that's a good way to learn. I don't know. That's actually a good one. Let's cover the types. That's actually a pretty good one. Agility, right? AGL. Agility. In Japanese, it's written in kanji letter, which is soku, right? That means soku in hiragana. But if you write this out in the phonetics, it's soku. That's Japanese right there. So agility, soku. That's what that means. Kami or God. I'm automatically translating this shit in like Japanese in my head. Okay, God is Kami. That's the hiragana format. However, the right way to say this or write this is that. That's the kanji format. So again, Kami, you know, obviously in Dragon Ball, the Kami character that shows up. That's how he's pronounced in Japanese. But you can also do that too. You can also do that too. That's the Katakana format. Yeah, so that's actually a good point. Kami could actually mean a variety of things. It can mean God, it can mean hair, it can mean paper. So it's crazy. Japanese is crazy because certain words can mean different things. So Kami, right there, just from there, you can actually say 3 different things from that. Yeah, Kami-sama is probably the appropriate way to say it. That's how it's written in kanji letter. So it's broken out by that. So basically, the first part is Kami, and that's Sama. Sama is like a way to address someone formally. So like if you're addressing someone that's an elder, you can say Sama or San. So like Let's say Carlos, right? I'm just looking at a random name that's showing up on the chat. If I wanted to address Carlos in a formal manner, if I type this in Japanese, it's gonna be Karurosu. All right, that's Carlos right here. However, if I want to put in a formal way to address the individual, I'm gonna have to put san, or I'm gonna have to put like such. So this right here equals Karuros-san. This will equal Karuros-sama. This right here is very, very formal. Like if you're writing a letter, or if you're writing like an RSVP to invite someone to a wedding, you know, that kind of stuff. Or if you're a company and you're writing, sending off a letter or package to an individual, you definitely want to refer to the individual as sama. However, you can also say san too. If you're talking to someone that's an elder, you more than likely will address them in this manner. This is very, very formal. All right, so that's kind of like briefly some of the covers there. All right, let's see. Yeah, so Carlos in Japanese is actually pronounced Carlos. Yeah, I will save this and upload this and publish this as the actual video so you guys can refer back to this later on. So the point of this video was to make it interactive. That way you guys can ask me questions anytime. That's basically the purpose of this. And appreciate the donation, Santiago. You really didn't have to do that, but certainly appreciate it. And hey, you don't have to call me Sama. You can just call me Jinro. You know, that's we're all friends here. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate the donation. I am not married, Hassan. Let me catch up on the chats. Like, let's see. So san is like normal talk and sama is professional. That is actually a very good explanation. San is more practical on a conversational level. Normal talk, like you said, and sama is definitely a professional manner. So I think you summarized that perfectly. So thanks for leaving that comment. How did I learn Japanese? So originally I am from Japan. Like I was born and grew up in Tokyo, Japan, and spent a good portion of my life there. Switching back and forth between Japan and the U.S. So luckily I spent some of my childhood in the U.S. So that's why I don't have your thick Japanese accent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do impersonations of Japanese accents. All right, so don't expect that shit. But yeah, I grew up a little bit in the U.S. So that's why I have a pretty decent pronunciation of the English language and not really an accent, but yeah, like I said, I've been going back and forth between the U.S. and Japan, but originally I am from there. So, how old am I? I'm in my late 20s. So let's leave it at that. Kun in English, that's like, so kun is actually like how you refer to your friends. So like, let's say who just wrote that. Let me refer back to that. Canada, right? So if I wanted to refer to you in a friendly manner, I would say Kanada-kun, right? Kanada-kun. So if I'm referring to you as a friend, this is almost like a friendly address of san. That's probably the best way I can explain it to you. So instead of using san in a more formal manner, if it's between friends, I mean, you could say kun. So like, I remember growing up in Japan, like teachers would refer to us students as kun too. Like there will be instances where they refer to us with that. So in Japanese, it'll actually be Kanada. It's obviously going to be in Katakana because it is a foreign language or foreign word. And then it'll be kun. So Kanada-kun. That's how you say that. I mean, I guess it counts as a shout out. Hey, as long as you ask good questions, I mean, I'm gonna bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm reading the comments too as much as possible. So FaZe, can you give me tips on how to be a Dokkan YouTuber by being free to play and not having many units? I mean, honestly, like the best advice I have for you if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel is just have fun with it, you know, and do what you want to do. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And like the other thing is definitely consistency. Like you're gonna have to like have content pretty frequently. I mean, it's a grind and it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I have fun with it and I enjoy doing it. So that's pretty much the recommended approach that I would take if I were you. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's Walter. I mean, that is also a way to refer like boy, little boy, or something like that. I mean, that's definitely the case. But like in a friendly manner, even adults will like refer to people with the kun address. Like, let's give you an example. Like in the professional environment, let's say a male worker. This is gonna come across a little bit sexist, but this is how Japan operates. All right, so take it for as it is. So there's, let's say, a manager level individual at the office in Japan, right? And it's a guy. Let's say there's a female subordinate worker, right? Like an assistant or something. That individual manager is gonna refer to that person as kun. Like, let's say, I don't know, what's the Japanese name? Sakura can be a Japanese name, right? So the guy will be like, "Chotto, Sakura-kun, nani nani shite kunnai kana?" Basically means, "Hey, Sakura, can you do something for me?" I mean, people refer to others as kun, even as adults. So originates from, like, you know, referring to boys and little kids in that manner, but it's still utilized in a more universal manner. So that's basically how that is. So hopefully that clarified a little bit. Let's see. So sama is like sir or ma'am. Yeah, that's probably a good way to summarize that. How do you say I'm addicted to Dokkan? I actually know exactly the word for that. This is gonna be advanced, but this is the way to say it. That's Dokkan right there. I'm sure you all know. Okay, so this is Dokkan addict in Japanese. This is obviously Dokkan, and this is addict. So if we break this out, this means poison. So inner, this is inner, right here. The chu is inner. This is actually pretty funny, so it's worthwhile. Poison. Person. I guess person will be the right one for that. So basically, a person that's poisoned inside is what's referred to as an addict, right? So by combining Dokkan to it, you make yourself say Dokkan Chudoksha. So that's how you would say it. So that is the translation for Dokkan addict. Dokkan Chudoksha. Alright? Second question. I'm trying to catch up as much comments as I can, so sorry if I missed some of those, alright? Dokkan, that's actually a good question. What does Dokkan mean? Okay, let me just get rid of all these right here. So what does Dokkan mean? Dokkan is actually a way to describe like an impact. So Dokkan is like usually used in manga and stuff like that as like explosive, I guess is the best way to describe the term. So yeah, Dokkan actually means something like explosive. Boom, I guess is another one. Like stuff like that. It's a way to describe an impact. So that's what Dokkan actually means. Battle is obviously battle. So yeah, I guess explosive battle is what Dokkan battle would translate to. Yosha is actually a way to refer to like excitement, I guess. Yosha, direct translation of Yosha would probably be like, I'm trying to think. Like, yeah would be a good one, right? Or like, that's what's up. If we try to use a different term for that, it'd be like, that's what's up. Hell yeah, I guess, yeah. I think Yosha direct translation would be hell yeah. I think that's the most accurate way to describe Yosha. Make sense? Yeah, Kaboom, Clash, yeah, all those are good descriptions. So, let's see. Can you spell my name in Japanese? Alright. Orange? I'll give you a couple of variations. That's the katakana format for orange. And that's the hiragana format for orange. Can you translate kuro, kuso? Oh, kuso taraga. Alright, that's what you're referring to. These are... I don't know if I should be translating this shit, but it is used in Dragon Ball, so like, I'll translate profanity for a little bit. Kuso taraga. I'm gonna have to, for YouTube purposes, I'll have to explicit out some things. That's what it translates to. Shithead. That's what I would think anyway. Like if I was to translate it, that's what I or I guess the other one would be like another one would probably be like you like fucking bum. That's another one. What do I work as? So I work in the finance industry. I work in corporate finance, so I deal with a lot of numbers every day. That's pretty much my job. Alright, Robert. Let's see. Translate Robert. Yeah, I do say the word. I don't know. I was just being cautious. That's why, Lance. Robert. Okay, will equal. And you'll pronounce it differently in Japanese. That is actually how you spell it in Japanese, but how you say it is robato. So it'll be like robato. That's actually how Japanese people would pronounce your name in Japanese. Alright, let's see. Translate chicken? I don't know where these words are coming from, but we'll keep it going. So the imported word for chicken is this, and like KFC and shit like that. If you go to the fast food chains in Japan, they'll have chicken listed as chicken. So that is because it's an imported word from somewhere outside of Japan. You have to use the katakana format, and that's why it's used in that manner. But if we break this out, it's going to be chi-ki. So it sounds similar, right? Like how you would say it in Japanese is chicken. So it sounds similar to chicken. It's just said a little bit differently. However, chicken in Japanese, in the Japanese word itself, is going to be niwatori. Okay? Niwatori. Which is going to be... That's how you actually say it in the Japanese word itself, but since chicken is used in the foreign format a lot, that's why it's also written in this format. But yeah, this is the hiragana format for niwatori. This is a kanji format for niwatori, which actually means chicken as well. So that's the answer for that one. You have those squeaky chicken toys. I got you. So how did you learn Japanese? So I'm like I said earlier, I'm originally from Japan. I'm originally from Tokyo, and English is actually my second language. So it might actually be surprising for some, but yeah, that's why I know Japanese. Subarashi, yeah, that's a pretty common one. Let's break that one out. And before I do that, let's talk about a couple of things. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. Can you speak Spanish? I wish. I'm telling you something. When I was in high school, I made the dumbass decision to take a different language, which was Russian. I mean, it's a cool ass language, and I would have loved to use Russian, but how often are you going to use Russian living in the U.S., right? So yeah, I wish I would have taken Spanish instead, but You know, I took Russian. No disrespect to anybody in Russia. Like that's not how it's meant to be. Like there's not really much use for it living in the U.S. That's why Spanish would have been a little bit more practical to take. That's what I mean by that. All right, let's catch up on some things. How do you spell 17 in Japanese? Okay, I'll cover that here in a second. The other one was subarashi, right? So let me type this up before I catch up on more comments. 17. All right. No, just to clarify, I can't speak Russian. I forgot that shit. So like, I don't speak any Russian. I took a couple of courses back in like high school and college, but never used it. So I don't speak Russian. I took Russian. That's probably the best way to explain it. Yeah, Junanago is the way to say 17, and that's how we'll just break it out. All right, so, but if you break it out in Japanese, it's gonna be, that's the Hiragana format for that, but that's not how you would actually spell it in Japanese. The right way in Japanese is gonna be that's how it is in the kanji format. And if we break this out, this means 10. This means 7. And this means like model number, I guess. We'll just keep it at model. So basically model number 17 is what Junana means. So this is actually extra right here from the 17. This will be 17 for you. This is Ju. And this is Nana, or Shichi. This is Go, which means model. Okay? So, subarashi. Let's break this out. That's how you say it in Japanese, hiragana. So, to break this out, it's pretty straightforward, because you guys already know the Japanese for it. This is suba, ra, shi. And then finally an E. So I guess E. Extension, I guess. Alright, so that's how you say subarashi in Japanese. Subarashi. Subarashi. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, how would you say subarashi in Japanese? Or I mean not Japanese, what am I thinking? Spanish. So subarashi, for those that don't know, like you guys use this frequently because it's used pretty common in the community, but subarashi, for those that don't know what this actually means, it means excellent or great. I'm trying to think of synonyms that would work, but the best way to say it is like excellent. Nice, I guess. Very nice. There's another one. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Carlos, that was actually pretty close. You're missing the J before the U. It would be Juhachigo. Yeah, splendid. Splendid is, yeah, it's definitely a word to describe that. But in terms of like the context that is used, especially in Dragon Ball, it would probably mean a little bit differently. Like splendid is more of like an optimistic explanation, right? Like usually in Dragon Ball, like villains would use subarashi. So like it would be, I mean, it's more technical at this point, but I would definitely use excellent, probably because, you know, villains would say stuff like that more or less than splendid. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Alright, translate smell my forehead. I mean, I will translate it just for you, but I don't know why, but what is it? Smell my forehead? Is that what that was? Alright, let's see. Smell my forehead. Deco. How many of y'all play soccer? Remember the Portuguese player Deco back in the day? That's how you would spell it in Japanese, by the way. Alright, so that means forehead. Okay, and then smell would probably be nioi. So I would think, I don't know because I've never had to use this sentence before. Probably that. Smell my forehead is probably going to be That right there. Yeah, Deco was definitely a hell of a player back in the day. I've watched soccer a lot, and he was definitely a pretty good pass master. He has some he definitely has some technique. So yeah, I definitely watch all anime in the original language, which is Japanese. I grew up watching it that way, and I can't do it any other way. Like it, no disrespect to the dub version, but it drives me crazy when I have to watch it in the dub version. If I don't have to watch it in the dub version, I won't. I absolutely will not, because I mean I'm a little bit biased when I say this, but it seems like the Japanese voice actors are definitely better than the English dub actors. Like I said, no disrespect to any of them. It just seems like the quality's better, because there's a bigger industry in Japan for that. The second thing I wanted to say about that, what was I gonna? Oh yeah, the Dragon Ball Super movie coming out with Broly. They better have the Japanese version with the English sub at certain movie theaters, because that's going to be a major turnoff for me. I'm going to have a hard time watching that movie at the theaters if it's in the dub version. So hopefully they have it with the sub version availability. Captain Tsubasa, yeah, definitely a classic. Funny story with that. I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and on vacation, obviously, but a friend of mine asked for a certain copy of the Captain Tsubasa manga. He was a Mexican friend of mine, and he wanted the a section where the Japan team played against the Mexican team. And I went to Akihabara, which is like the anime mecca of Japan, and went to one of the bookstores and found it and got it for him. So yeah, Captain Tsubasa is definitely where it's at too. All right, let's see. Who's your favorite team in England? If you saw my video a couple weeks ago where I actually went to the game, you'll know. But Liverpool is actually my favorite team. I've followed them for forever now, like a long time, like probably since like 1999 is probably when I started following that team. And then, you know, obviously the more older I got, the more heavy I've been following them. I actually went to Liverpool a few years ago and visited the stadium, so it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Why don't you have your face in videos or streams? It's just a personal preference of mine. Like, I don't plan on doing face reveals at any point within the existence of this channel. Is just a way, like, I started off this YouTube channel with that mentality, and I'm just kind of, that's one of the principles that I'm gonna maintain. So unfortunately, I know for those that are curious about what I look like, I don't know why, but yeah, I'm not gonna be doing face cams anytime in this channel's existence, unfortunately. But that's just, you know, that's just one of the, I don't know, the mentalities I was decided that I'm gonna do. How do you say what's wrong in Japanese? What's wrong? So the best one is probably doshita. Doshitanda. That's probably the best way to say it. Doshitanda. That means what's wrong in Japanese as well. That would probably be phonetic wise, that's how you would say it. So let me actually change this because each letter does mean something. So that's how you would actually say doshitanda in Japanese, which means what's wrong. Okay? And definitely appreciate the compliment there, Catholic. I'm glad you enjoyed my content, and the fact that you find it helpful definitely means a lot to me. Am I fat or do you train in the gym? I am definitely not fat. I definitely do keep myself in shape. Yeah, I mean, I go to the gym, not as often as I'd like, but yeah, I definitely work out and stuff. What's the difference between ka and da when asking questions? It's probably to do with the context of the question itself. So, like, this would probably be a way to ask, どうかしたか? And this would be obviously the stuff from above, which is どうしたんだ? So the difference between the ka and da, you can see here, and I'll just highlight the areas here. So the difference between da and ka is based on the context itself of the question. This actually means, like, did something happen? Whereas this would mean something like, what's wrong? You know, so it really depends on what question you're asking in terms of what to use. That's probably the best way to explain that. Okay, here's a good one. Saikyo wa no fusion. So I'm guessing you meant Saikyo no fusion. So let's write that out. Okay, that's the Hiragana format for that. Google Translate, yeah, it is pretty close, but it's not going to be fully accurate. Like, the computer algorithms can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to translate exactly to where, like, Japanese people actually speak. It'll give you the pronunciation and like, translation. And, like, if the Japanese people see it, they're going to understand what that's saying. However, it's not going to be correct all the time because the way the sentence structures are made, you need that human element to it. A computer can only do so much, you know what I mean? So that's probably what I have to say about Google Translate. Alright, Saikyo no Fusion. So this means most powerful, I guess, fusion. Alright, so if we break this hiragana out, and I'm actually going to write it with the kanji first. That's Saikyo no. So this is probably what you're used to seeing in like Dragon Ball universe, right? With the kanji lettering. So this means most powerful. Can't even spell. This is more or less like indenting, I guess, or signifying the noun, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's probably the best way to explain it. That's fusion. So that's how that's how you say most powerful fusion in Japanese. Saikyo no fusion. So Axel, like I said not too long ago, I'm definitely not doing any face reveals, unfortunately. And I just saw the comment, Catholic. I'm definitely not a god by any means. I'm just a fellow Dokkan Battle player where I enjoy the content. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like any of you guys, really. And I look at all of you as more in a friendly manner. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all companions in a way, I guess. All right. And definitely appreciate the sub, JP. It means a lot. Yeah, I guess, yeah, ka could definitely mean, yeah, I think that's actually a good way to describe that. Ka is definitely referencing past occurrences and shit like that. And whereas da is more present based. But here's the thing you got to be careful about, because you can refer to future instances with the ka included. So like, for example, like I would say, like, これからどうするのか would actually mean, what are you going to do in the future? So it's not strictly just a past reference, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be a little bit careful with that. I'm not really sure about Duolingo. I mean, if anybody has experience about it, definitely let me know. Yeah, never would I imagine the day where a bubble popping mobile game would teach me Japanese. Isn't that true? And honestly, I would have never had a YouTube channel probably if I didn't play a bubble popping game. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how things happen. What's the difference between daisuki and aishiteru? Simply put, daisuki means I like you a lot. Aishiteru means I love you. So that's probably the easiest way to make the difference between the two. What is the color of your underwear today? How many people did you... I'm definitely not answering those questions. just know I have a girlfriend. And I'm not going to translate hentai. Come on now. You can look that up on Google and get that translation. But it's actually worthwhile to translate because it does have a funny meaning to it. So I will say this just so you guys know. All right, I'm not going to show any graphic shit or any like that stuff because we're not going to go there, obviously, because I don't really watch that shit. Okay? Hentai. That's how you say that in Japanese. You know what this means in Japanese? I'll tell you exactly what it means in Japanese. This means odd or weird. Okay? And this means attitude or mentality. Okay? So that is what hentai means. Alright? Odd attitude, odd mentality, weird attitude, you know, that kind of shit. Okay? I'm gonna stop there. We're not going any further than that. Hey, I mean, look, there is nothing wrong with watching that. And I'm not gonna judge anybody that does. Like like you said, everybody does on the DL. Like whether you like to admit it or not, like it's all good. I'm just saying, like, I got a girlfriend, so there's no need for me to watch that shit. Okay. Let's see. Let's just catch up on some more comment. Harem or Harlem. Harem is the Japanese pronunciation for Harlem. So that's really what that is. Yeah, I mean, the best way to learn a language, any language really, is to actually go to that country that uses that language. I mean, the only way I learned English was because I had to move here, not by choice. I moved here and I had to learn English. I mean, and I'll tell you what, you know how I learned English? By watching motherfucking Ninja Turtles. I watch that every day, and next thing you know, I'm like fluent in English and shit. So watching Dragon Ball or anime or any of that stuff can actually teach you a lot of Japanese, especially at a young age. So, you know, I don't know if anybody has kids right now that are watching, but definitely expose your kids to a lot of foreign languages through like TV shows and whatnot, because they'll pick that up and they'll be like at least bilingual or trilingual. Japanese was my first language. English is my second. Yeah, SpongeBob is definitely a funny one to learn English too. How to say American horror film? I mean, I don't think there's an exact Japanese word for it, but like that's how you would probably what's the, damn it, I'm looking for the, alright, I can't do it. That's probably how you would say it in Japanese for American horror film, and I'll break it out for you. This means American. That means horror, and that means film. So this is American, this is horror, and this is eiga, which means film. All right, so yeah, I've translated a couple. I thought I already translated your name, Canada. I'll do it again, and then I'll do Axel. So Canada in Japanese is such. That's Canada. I can't disrespect country by putting in not using capital letter uppercase. All right. Axle, right? Would be. That's probably the equivalent of axle in Japanese. So yeah, definitely need to do the top 10 free-to-play support units, Zanzan. So I'll definitely do that, man. I mean, would you guys want to see? How about this? I'll do a free-to-play support units list, and then I'll do like a top free-to-play units in general. So I'll do 2 separate videos for that. Hold on a second. All right, I'm catching up on some comments, so give me just 1 second. So we've got some interesting Japanese comments on here. I don't know if you're actually Japanese or not, because this is actually very good Japanese. ランチはトランクスの愛人で隠し子がいます。このことは日本人しか知りません。So if I read this in English, basically, let's see. ランチはトランクスの愛人で。So if I read this correctly, because there's 2 ways to take this. One is referencing launch as Trunks being Launch's lover's like illegitimate child. Only the Japanese will know. However, the other way to say this or understand this or interpret this is Launch had an illegitimate child with Trunks as a lover. All right, so back to so Mauricio would be. This is a difficult one. Maru Shio, I think. Maybe that's the way to say it. Mauricio. So Mauricio. Oh yeah, I did translate chicken. Yeah, that's right. I didn't translate Canada. Okay. Mogaren. So Mogaren would be. This actually reminds me of when I spent my first like month or so moving back to the U.S. Like all the kids that I transferred to school with were like, translate this to this and this. Translate to this and this. So that's Mogaren in Japanese. Mogaren. What's your favorite anime other than Dragon Ball? So I do like a lot of Fist of the North Star, probably my favorite anime besides Dragon Ball. I watch a lot of films. A lot of films actually, like Akira was one, Spriggan's one, Millennium Actress is another good one, Paprika is a good one. I'm trying to think of all the other ones. I did read Captain Tsubasa growing up as a kid. Doraemon's actually pretty good too. Like it's definitely something I grew up on as a kid. Yeah. Let's see. Let me catch up on more comments. Can you explain why in a sentence names are in different places when I hear it? Does it have to do with the way the language direction, like from left to right? Yeah, I mean it could be. Yeah, I mean it's probably referencing. It's probably to do with how it's referenced in the name itself. That's probably where the difference comes from. All right, so Jonathan, we'll do a couple of these more translations, and we'll probably wrap up the stream. It's definitely an hour and a half into it, so I know it's long enough to where we've covered a decent amount of material. So that's Jonathan in Japanese. You actually pronounce it differently. The TH is no longer there. It's actually pronounced with the S sound. So instead of Jonathan, it'll be Jonathan or Jonathan. I think it would actually be so instead of sa. So that's how you would say it, Jonathan. Roblox. Roblox would probably be. I don't know. They probably have it in Japanese by now. Probably that. That's my best guess. Roblox. Minecraft is easy. Okay, let's see. I mean, yeah, JP, anytime you ask for a shout out, I'll definitely give you a shout out. And I keep shout outs strictly to streams because I did shout outs in the past in actual videos, and like my comment sections got fucking destroyed with like requests for shout outs. So I'm keeping it strictly to live streams. Okay, so Minecraft is the way it is. I mean, it's written in Japanese, but it's pronounced exactly the same way. So Minecraft in Japanese would say, this is mine right here, and this is craft. So Minecraft. That's basically how it's said. So Cameron, the next stream will probably, I'll try and do it next weekend. I'll try and do another English learning lesson video next week and go from there. I want to make it a little bit more consistent because last time I actually did this before the stream was like a while ago, you know what I mean? So I want you guys to be able to learn continuously, so I'll try and do it on a weekly basis. Let's see. Yeah, I'm actually going to pick back up on Fighters. It's funny because I pre-ordered that shit before it came out with the season pass and everything, but I really haven't had a chance to play it, so like, yeah, it's crazy. But I definitely do plan on doing that, picking back on that and also doing videos on it, so I'll definitely do that. The question about Discord, I definitely need to set that up. I really do. At this point, especially with the size of the channel where it's gotten, I definitely do need to create a server for that. Just give me some time on doing some research and getting that set up. But I guess it is worth asking here. How many of you are experienced with moderating on Discord servers? If you are, let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, and we can kind of talk about how you might be able to help me, maintain Discord server. All right, so if you're interested in helping, let me know. Like I said, on Instagram or Twitter. So yeah, Sonic, if you're interested, definitely hit me up and let me know. Anime King, what's up? Starting a Dokkan channel, I guess. Yeah, I mean, good luck with that, and hopefully you enjoy making the content. Yeah, instead of I mean, it's a grind, man. I will tell you, but hopefully enjoy it to where you'll see the channel grow, and good luck to you. Yeah, I don't care about the constant moderating. Like, I'll probably have like my girlfriend or somebody like maintain it for me, and whatnot. But it would definitely be helpful to have like certain like people just hop in every now and then and help moderate. I guess it's more or less, I'm more focused on the functions and system setups, mechanics about the service. Because honestly, I don't know shit about Discord. Like, I don't ever use it, so I get that question a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's gotten to the point where it's necessary. Why do they keep some buttons in English like OKHP and rarities in Dokkan Battle instead of putting it directly in Japanese? So here's the thing. In Japan, we mix up a lot of English words and Japanese words and whatever. Like, certain things will be obviously displayed in English. However, a lot of other things will be put in Japanese, like you see here. Like, it's just the way Japan is. Like, like it's the bottom line is Japanese people love using the English letters, speaking English. Like, growing up in Japan, like, English is actually a required language to take starting in middle school. So yeah, people want to test out how their English speaking skills are and whatnot. They think it's like trendy and cool and hip to speak English, you know what I mean? So like that's why a lot of songs in Japan use like English words in their songs, because they sound more like new age or hip or whatever it is you want to describe it as. That's basically my best explanation for you with that. And no, I'm not going to translate these nuts in Japanese, because there's no reference to that in Japan. Like, they don't use that joke in Japan, so there's no direct translation for it. Fortnite is an epidemic. What would that translate to? That is actually a good question. I mean, you could say ekibyo, but as epitome, but that's not really the right way to say that. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's a good question. I'm trying to think about the context in doing that, of translating this. Like, Fortnite has to be said in Japanese differently. I'm sure they have a translation for that by now, but I don't know if they actually use Fortnite as the title for their games in Japan. Let's actually look it up real fast. I guess it is Fortnite. So, interesting. It's still said as Fortnite. So in Japan, it's yeah, Fortnite is still Fortnite. Interesting. Hey, what's happening, Fusion Sama? Can you translate stupid? Tariq? Yeah, probably aho or baka. That means stupid in Japanese. All right, I'm starting to get questions about formality, translations for for cuss words. So we'll keep it moderate here. Um, yeah, so I'm not gonna answer Jaden your question, unfortunately. Fusion, definitely appreciate the donation. Certainly didn't have to do that, but certainly appreciated. Yeah, baka. I mean, baka, idiot, stupid. I mean, if it essentially references the same thing. You know what I mean? So like, they're interchangeable. Like, you know, damn and shit. I mean, they essentially mean the same thing, right? So like, there's multiple words that can describe that expression in Japan too. Catch you later, Canada. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna stop the stream here in a second anyway. So certainly appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for checking out the stream, JP. Yeah, take care too, man. Yeah, bakayaro is definitely a word that's used a lot, quite a bit in Japan. Um, yeah, I'll catch you later, Lord Mogare. Thanks a lot for checking the stream. I mean, yeah, I mean, I try to incorporate Japanese whenever I'm translating videos like news that got released and shit like that. I know a lot of you guys like hearing Japanese, so I do try to speak it when I can. But I don't want to do it too often because like some people will take that as me flexing, you know what I mean? And that's not why I do it. I mean, like I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't requested so damn much, you know what I'm saying? So um, that's how it is. This is actually a fresh account, Hassan. So like, there's no Dragonstone whatsoever. Like, there's nothing here. But I can summon on this thing if you want me to. We'll do a YOLO single on a brand new account. What's up in Japanese, Dark, is actually yo. Like yo as in, in English. Like that is actually how people say what's up in Japanese. Cedric, you want me to say that? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, お前はもう死んでいる. I'm trying to do it in the Kenshiro voice. Which one? It doesn't really matter because it's gonna be a damn single and it's gonna be a shit summon. If there's an LR, I guess I'll give you this account. Yeah, just download Q app and yeah, you'll be able to get it. Well, Vegeta did show up, so we'll see. What's up here? Maybe it's the YOLO single LR. I don't know why this thing's lagging, but yeah, this is probably not gonna be anything, just so you know. Yep, nothing. All right. So, like I said, I am gonna try and stream more often with this Japanese lessons videos, and I'll try and keep it in a live stream format. I think it's a little bit more fun, not only for myself but also for you guys. You can interact with me and ask me questions, comment, whatever, and you know, I can actually speak to you guys directly. So it might actually be a better way to kind of approach the Japanese lessons instead of a strictly video. But I will publish this live stream video, and you'll be able to reference this and go back to it and you know, reflect back on some of the lessons if you need to. All right, so yeah, I'll try and do it around this time on the weekends, maybe on Saturdays. I'll try and do it. It depends, really, but I'll try and maintain a schedule for it. All right. So, like I said, I am gonna cut off the stream, but I mean, I'm surprised a lot of you guys showed up. Like, at some point, I think there were up to like 80 people on here. So, it's good to know that, you know, I mean, this is a pretty boring subject if you think about it. So, the fact that a lot of you guys showed up for that and are eager to learn, I mean, that actually means something. So, it definitely gives me motivation to keep doing it on a more scheduled manner, I guess. So our Japanese schools really like they show them in the anime. So we'll conclude the stream by answering this. No, it's a lot more boring than the anime shows predict them to be. Trust me, I've been there, and it's not that exciting. It's like school anywhere else. It's boring as shit, and you're basically learning stuff you don't want to really learn about. That's pretty much what school is like in Japan too. All right, man. So that's, yeah, like I said, this is pretty much the stream. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for checking in. Like I said, we'll do this on a more regular basis, and you know, that way you can interact more often. All right. So we will cut off the stream. Thanks for checking it out. We'll check you guys next time. All right. Peace out, everybody.